Hello, my name is Lee Colazzo, and I am also known as MrsReaderPants on Teachers Pay Teachers and in my blog. I am an 18-year veteran school librarian and secondary English teacher, and I'm here today to show you my awesome What's Your Genre Personality test that's available on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I will share my screen. Give me 1 second to do that. Okay, so this is the genre personality, and this is for middle school, high school. I do have a version for elementary, which is grades 3 through 6, and I will do that in a separate video. So this particular one I recommend for grades 6 through 12. Sixth grade does overlap with the elementary version, and it just depends on what you want. The difference between this one and the elementary, there's one personality that has a different name, and there's also more of an emphasis in secondary. Like I have genre recommendations, and romance, horror, dystopia, those are all in the secondary version, but not in the elementary. The elementary, instead of horror, I call it scary stories. So it just depends on what you want to do with your sixth graders. Some people use elementary, some use secondary. So each of the silhouettes on this first page represents a different genre personality. So there are 12, and the students will take a quiz and they answer different questions about their different preferences, and it will score them, and at the end they will know their genre personalities. Most students are going to have more than one genre personality because we're all very unique and different, and one day to the next sometimes we're a different personality, especially in middle school. So I do want to let you know that everything that comes with the set is also now available in Google Classroom. So you are able to use that for distance learning if, unfortunately, we have to go to that this year. So it starts out, everything is ready to go for you. You don't have to do any preparation. With one exception, you might want to print the printable version of the quiz. It allows students to follow along as they do their answers as you go through the PowerPoint. And it helps if they can't see the PowerPoint very well, or if, because I know I had a library that was long and narrow in the instructional area, and the people in the back just could never see. So I would use the printable quiz with that group. And they can also use just scratch paper is also fine. All they're recording is the letters of their answer choices, and then they'll just count them up at the end. But if you want to do that printable quiz with it, you will need to run some copies of that. But that's it. Everything else is all ready to go. It walks the students through directions, so you don't even need to go over directions with them. I do give a couple of reminders about students making sure that if they do not understand an answer choice, that they do ask for definitions and things like that. I don't want them to put any answer that they don't know who the person it's talking about is. There's some pop culture references. If they don't know those, they're probably not going to be in that personality, because people who are that genre personality would know that. So I always ask questions. They never have any questions. And so this is an example of one of the questions on the quiz. So the students would go through and they would mark more than one. I usually tell them try to aim for 3 or 4 per question. And if they need to mark more than 4, that's also okay, as long as most slides they're averaging about 3 or 4 answers. That seems to be the sweet spot to give them the best, most accurate results for them. If nothing works for them on the answer choices, they don't have to put something for this one, but they shouldn't do that for every question, of course. They won't get very good results that way. So this is just another example of a question. And so the students would record the letter of their answer. So they might say, oh, I'm H and D and K and F, and they would write that on their paper or circle it on their quiz. So at the end, it goes through 11 questions. And at the end, this is on the back of the printable quiz, or they can do this on scratch paper. They would go back and write down how many A answers they put, how many B answers, how many C's, etc. So if they're doing it on a piece of paper, they want to write the letters vertically down the page and then how many of each answer they put. And ultimately, they will circle the letters that got the highest scores. So for some students, that's going to be 3 personalities, it might be 2, it might be 5. It just depends on the student and how kind of well-rounded they are. Some students really get a lot of personalities and some get really strong in like 1 or 2. So after the students have taken the quiz, this is usually for me a different day because the quiz does take a while. I usually do it in about 40 minutes and then give them time to check out. I have, at my school, I have 1-hour sessions in the library every 2 weeks with the students. So this would be grades 6 through 12. So you can, I usually have them go over the results the next time. I'll have them score it if I have time this time, and if not, I'll do that next time as well. So going over the results is a lot of fun, and the students really have some interesting reactions to these. I love guessing what the students will get because I feel like after several years, I know my students pretty well and I can guess what they're going to get, which is a lot of fun. So this is an example of one of the personalities. This is the questioner. And so this one, if they put a lot of A answers, then they would fall into this personality. And you can see that it gives them a description of the personality. Pet peeves would be things that kind of drive them crazy. And then some genre recommendations for questioners. So this is another example, the escapist. So some of them have lots and lots of different genre, like escapists. Some don't have as many. It just depends on the personality. And so I won't go through all of them. There are 12 total personalities. This is a close-up photograph of the personality quiz. It's actually, it looks like it's a whole ton of pages. It's 3 pages that the students actually write on. And then the 4th page is and it's like where they talk about what their personality was and whether it fit them and what kinds of genre they read. It sort of walks them through a discussion of their specific personality. I also have this version on the reflections form is also on Google Forms, so they can turn that into you and you can see what their personalities are and what they thought of them, if they thought they were accurate or not, which is kind of nice. This is what I would give them after they decide what their personalities are. These are bookmarks that have, on one side, they have the description, the pet peeves, and the recommended genre. And on the other side, they have a list of books that I would recommend for that particular personality. These are editable, so you can change them up if you need to, especially the books that are recommended. You probably will want to change those up for your own library. These have been updated. Today is June 30th, 2020, and I have updated these with 2020 titles. So I usually do that every summer. So if you don't want to go and have to constantly update your bookmarks, don't worry. If you buy it, I do that for you, and you can download the update for free. These are full page personality profiles. These are new with my 2020 update, and these are similar to the bookmarks except they have the silhouettes on them. And these are great if you are in distance learning. I have all of these on Google as well, and sending the bookmarks with 4 copies on each bookmark that didn't work in Google, so I made these. And this is little cards that you can also put on the counter in the library for students to pick up. These are just the personality profile, no book recommendations, and the answer key as well. So these you would print 4 to a page, so you can make these. It's just smaller, easier to keep with them. And then this is a separate product that I sell that is posters that you can put around your library for each personality. There are 24 posters in each set. I have it for elementary and I have it for secondary. This is the secondary set because the secondary uses silhouettes as the graphics for each personality, and they match the quiz and what's on the quiz, so they exactly match. So the silhouettes used and the descriptions used are the same. This particular photograph is of the full background version, but there is also a printer-friendly version that's still in color, but the background is white. They're all gorgeous. They're just, the colors I used are very, very bright and colorful, and I'm really proud of them. They're really nice. So that is it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So if you are interested in the What's Your Genre Personality test, I have the links I will post below in the comments. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope your students really, really enjoy this.